Recently, Rise 360, you may have noticed a different UI in the matching quiz block. And when I first saw it, I thought I had done something wrong because I was working on a right-to-left alignment conversion for a course. But no, that is the new UI. So some people were not exactly satisfied with it. I think the numbers are there for mostly accessibility. But I thought, what if we return to more of an interlocking UI? This is what I came up with. Also, I discovered these states, these connected and droppable states. So I did some coloring with a CSS file and one image. And you can download the source code zip from theme360.com. So this is the original, or this is the new UI with the numbers. I actually thought that number 1 there, what I could type into, it looks like a form input. But you drag the card items to connect them, or you can use the drop down. It's a bit confusing, even after I figured out how to do it. Each time I look at it, there's something just a bit unsettling about the UI, but I think it's mostly for accessibility, this major change that they made. So again, here's my UI, has that kind of puzzle piece, interlocking UI. And that's just an image. You can modify that if you want to go back to, used to have just kind of like an arrow shape. And if you are going to install it, I provide the zip at Theme360. And right at the top of the CSS file, you can see the 2 colors I use, the light blue for the connected state. And then there's a slightly darker blue for the droppable, when you're able to drop that item. And I'll just show you real quick here in case you're interested in debugging the CSS. I'll show you how I've kind of figured that out. We can see we have these ULs, unordered list items, and then each LI is going to be that actual kind of card shape that holds the text content. And to figure out what that droppable state is, I'll just show you. If you look in the code, as I drag one of the cards around, see the highlighted text in my debugger code there? That means something is changing. So we can look at that and figure out, oh, we have these states that Rise. I don't think Rise uses the connected or droppable state. Not like this. I mean, they have that outline or that one border color. But I thought let's restyle the whole thing just using a kind of a shade. You'll probably want to use a shade from your own branding guidelines, and I'm just using a light blue for the connected and droppable states. And if you go through my CSS, you'll see how I've kind of documented what those states are. And luckily in Rise, they give you nice good class names, very semantic. The droppable and connected states is right there in the class name, which is very handy. I'm always impressed with the semantic HTML that Rise uses. And what I'm doing here is figuring out the classes for the cards. And you can see this item in the right column, that's the droppable. So I can drop items on that. So if I wanted to restyle the droppable, make them look a little different, that may actually help the UI a little bit. I can change just the right column items which are droppable upon, or just the left column if I want. But anyway, I'm just going to keep it somewhat simple, and I'm just going to apply those color variables to the connected and droppable states. And you do need to export your course as a web or SCORM package and apply this, just to look at how I keep files in the course. There's my SCORM content. If I go into that, that's where I put the folder called theme. It's really all my theme items. And then I just have the CSS in that one image, which you can modify. It's a PNG. I kind of wish it was an inline SVG. I could color it easier, but we can't use inline SVG, so I just made it a PNG, which you can modify. And here's a look. When I add the link to my custom.css, I will generally put it right above the app, div ID equals app, just because I want to make sure my CSS loads after the regularized CSS, just to make it a little more specific, and it will inherit over top of the code that comes from the base rise package.